o'clock, and I'm Felicia Lawrence in tonight for Scott Swan. So we begin with the fallout nationally and locally over comments made about the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. ABC now pulling Jimmy Kimmel's late night show indefinitely over remarks made by the host. And here in Indiana, Ball State University has fired a professor over her comments about Kirk's death. Our Alex Almanza joins us in studio tonight with how this case is raising new questions about free speech and its consequences.
Well, seldom has a classroom comment echoed this far beyond campus walls. The former director of health promotion and advocacy made remarks about Charlie Kirk's death, and they didn't just stir outrage online, they cost her the job.
Ball State University has fired Suzanne Swierk, the director of health promotion and advocacy, after her social media post about Charlie Kirk's death drew outrage. She wrote, quote, "If you think Charlie Kirk was a wonderful person, we can't be friends," calling his death, quote, "a tragedy for his family, but also, quote, a reflection of the violence, fear, and hatred he sowed." By Wednesday, the university confirmed her termination, citing Hedgepeth versus Britain, a federal ruling that allows schools to discipline employees when their speech disrupts operations or undermines trust. In a statement, Ball State said her post was, quote, inconsistent with the distinctive nature and trust of her leadership position, adding it caused, quote, significant disruption on campus. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita condemned Swierk's comments and urged Hoosiers to report educators with the same rhetoric through his Eyes on Education portal. Right now, there are 9 verified submissions posted on the portal's website.
I do get concerned when we think about freedom of speech and the role it plays in terms of political violence, because you have freedom of speech to say things that are hurtful, but you do not have freedom of speech to say things that are hateful in a specific way that incites violence.
UIndy political science professor Laura Wilson weighs in on what healthy dialogue looks like.
There's going to be people you disagree with strongly, in fact, but that should never lead to action that can be hateful and in terms of political violence. I feel like we would do best as a democracy to have open dialogue.
Now, we've reached out to Swierk multiple times. She's not responded to requests for comment. Ball State says a second employee's post is also under review. Felicia?
All right, Alex reporting in the news live in the studio, excuse me. Thank you. And tonight, Governor Mike Braun is echoing recent comments made by Indiana's Attorney General that Alex mentioned. Governor Braun weighed in on social media, and he says we hold teachers to a higher standard, and a few are not living up to that standard. Braun went on to say that we must protect the First Amendment, but goes on, and the Secretary of Education has the authority to suspend or revoke a license for misconduct, and the office will review reported statements of K through 12 teachers and administrators who have made statements to celebrate or incite political violence. But it's not just educators. Late night host Jimmy Kimmel addressed Kirk's murder in his monologue Monday, and those remarks sparked backlash from the FCC. The chairman threatened to take action against ABC and its owner Disney. Today, Nexstar, one of the country's largest TV station owners, announced it would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future over the company's objections to Kimmel's remarks. Then, ABC announced that it plans to pull the show. No word on when or if it will return. And right now, Nexstar is in the process of merging with Tegna, which is WTHR's parent company. Our coverage of Charlie Kirk's murder, the investigation, and the fallout continues online. And there we are following the latest developments in the court case and ongoing reaction from across the country. All of this right now at WTHR.com.
Air quality alerts again in effect for most of central Indiana for our Thursday. If you suffer from upper respiratory problems, be sure to take it easy. We've seen the air quality at its worst late afternoon, early evening, and expected to be unhealthy for sensitive groups at times tomorrow afternoon and evening. No issues at the bus stop tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be mild in the low 60s. From there, we get close to 80 by noon and expecting highs near 90, sunny and hot in that Thursday forecast.
All righty, thank you, Miss Angela. And take a look at this. 4 homemade explosive devices, pot shrooms, all found inside an Indianapolis home. And all found as police investigated a case of road rage. Someone fired a shot along 465 back on August 21st on the northeast side. A man told police a motorcyclist was passing drivers quickly and riding next to cars illegally, so he honked his horn. And that's when they say the motorcyclist backed up, pointed a gun at the driver, and fired it. Tipsters helped lead police to 19-year-old Logan Quisenberry. Police say officers found the explosives and drugs when they searched a home linked to the suspect.
It's not just about identifying the particular individual who's involved, but is there more going on here? And they did an outstanding job of following up on every single lead.
Quisenberry is scheduled to be back in court next Wednesday. And tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from one of the people targeted in an expansive string of crimes across central Indiana.
We kind of moved to this area, you know, to be in a safe location, and generally I feel like it is, but yeah, it was just kind of more disappointing.
3 teenagers are now under arrest, accused of hundreds of car break-ins in Marion and Hamilton counties, and that includes a street in Fishers where several neighbors woke up to the damage. Chief Chris Bailey says the 3 teens committed more than 200 crimes, and he says there could even be charges filed against the parents.
About whether parents or guardians or others were complicit, knew what was going on, or encouraged, or were recipients of the illegal behavior.
Police arrested a 16-year-old and 2 17-year-olds. The investigation involved Fishers Police, IMPD, and the FBI. And tonight we're taking a closer look at Miami Correctional's transition to an ICE holding facility. Detainees are expected to start arriving October 1st. Well, the head of the Department of Correction just appeared in front of the State Budget Committee asking for close to $16 million for upgrades. Indiana will charge the federal government $291 a day per detainee. Right now, it costs the state $75 a day per inmate.
I don't want to come to you for more money. It is a high rate, but keep in mind we are housing them, we're feeding them, giving them medical care. They're getting their legal rights, everything they have, you know, paying to them.
I trust that you understand that some people have a different perspective and be a little bit maybe more focused on human rights and the real function of Indiana state government, and wonder how we find ourselves in this position where we're going to profit off somebody else's misery, which is what it comes down to.
The federal government guaranteed it will fill at least 450 beds with ICE detainees every day for 2 years. We did the math. That's $79 million the state stands to bring into its general fund. And it's $213 million if all 1,000 beds are filled for those 2 years. And here's a quick look at other stories making headlines right now. Tonight, a person is under arrest after a deadly shooting in Greenwood. Police say the 22-year-old man killed was just a bystander. They say he was shot outside his apartment, hit by a bullet intended for someone else. Officers tracked the suspected shooter to a hotel on the far east side of Indianapolis. And investigators are now trying to figure out how a body ended up in a pond in the Castleton area. They found the person this morning near 82nd and Shadeland, and now the Marion County coroner will work to identify the person found in the water. A reminder tonight from the Family and Social Services Administration. Agency leaders say only 3% of people holding a card loaded with SNAP benefits lock those cards. We reported this week on 2 families who had their benefits stolen. We've got instructions to lock your card over at WTHR.com. And a Brown County restaurant that's been around for nearly 50 years is closing down. The Hop Knob Corner restaurant in Nashville just announced its lease was not renewed. In a post on social media, the owners thanked customers and staff for their support. So get in while you can. The restaurant will close by the 2nd week of November. Remember, you can find all the latest local stories anytime on our 13 News app.